Google has been revealed to continue recording your location history even after you tell it to stop. Hey, it's Stu from Brand24. Welcome to the Social Recap, a rundown of the latest highlights from social media and digital marketing news. So in the last social recap, we talked about rising trends in voice tech, including the addition of voice messaging on LinkedIn, the ability to schedule routines in Google Home, and the integration of voice search and voice controls in BMW's latest collaboration with Alexa. This time, we're going to take a quick peek at the development of voice shopping before we talk about a certain block list that's gone viral thanks to a technical loophole on Twitter, how Google always knows exactly where we are, and then a quick rundown of some key feature updates that are coming soon to some popular tools and platforms. Now, let's start with voice shopping. So voice shopping is said to have been on the rise for the past 2 years since Amazon came out with Alexa in 2016. However, recent research indicates that most of these voice-activated smart speakers are actually more often used to create shopping lists instead of making actual purchases. A report from news site The Information showed that just 2% of devices with access to Alexa have been used to make purchases, and from that 2%, only 10% have made repeat purchases. Experts have predicted voice search sales to reach $40 billion by 2022, but that's a pretty big leap considering that it's almost the end of 2018 and sales have reached $2 billion so far. Predictions are probably influenced by the growing number of companies investing in voice shopping, such as Google and Samsung. And I'm sure they count on the further development of voice shopping technologies. A recent survey conducted by HubSpot on 500 internet users across the US and UK saw that nearly half of these users have never made a purchase via voice shopping, and about 20% don't even own a voice shopping device. In a similar survey, when participants were asked what they use their smart speakers for, half of them didn't use smart speakers at all, while 12% said they used it to check the weather. And in a bigger report from Smart Audio, the overall top 3 uses for smart speakers were to control household devices, add items to a shopping list, and add activities to a to-do list. Voice tech is definitely a growing trend, as we've seen from BMW, Alexa, Google, and even LinkedIn, but for now it's more rooted in voice search or voice-activated commands instead of voice shopping. And now, chances are, even if you're not a fan, you've probably heard of Infowars and its host Alex Jones. Well, the host and conspiracy theorist, who is also behind Pizzagate, as well as widely propagated claims that the Sandy Hook tragedy was fake news supported by crisis actors, has recently stirred up quite a commotion on Twitter, even causing a block list with his name on it to go viral. After getting banned from platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more due to angry public backlash from the highly controversial content, Twitter eventually followed suit and gave the Infowars host a 1-week suspension. However, during the suspension, users were still seeing tweets from Jones's account. Evidently, tweets that have been scheduled in advance, that's prior to a suspension, will still be published during the suspension. Seeing this loophole in action prompted Shannon Coulter, co-founder of Grab Your Wallet, to create a block list that could be installed to block tweets from Alex Jones, as well as advertising tweets from a number of Fortune 500 companies. More than 50,000 Twitter users have already downloaded Coulter's block list tool. And another huge concern for Twitter is online disinformation, having suspended over 58 million Twitter accounts by the end of 2017. Most of these accounts were connected to the Internet Research Agency, a Russian propaganda agency in St. Petersburg. In 2016, the Internet Research Agency cooked up and served a hungry public staggering amounts of disinformation during the presidential campaigns. In 2017, which saw the indictment of the propaganda agency plus 13 individuals for interfering with the presidential elections, content from Truthfeed already accounted for 95% of the IRA's Twitter activity. Truthfeed is a US-based news site that specializes in hyper-partisan clickbait articles such as the factually incorrect, refugees with TB are interviewing at Starbucks, or the liberal left has lost their minds and are now killing their neighbors for supporting Trump. Deeper investigations have revealed that most of the fake news getting retweeted by fake accounts from the Russian Internet Research Agency had actually been fabricated domestically by Truthfeed, at least by the time 2017 rolled around. And in a recent effort to enhance security, Twitter has made a series of changes to its API. Changes include a delay in push notifications for mentions and direct messages, disabled timeline streaming via Wi-Fi, as well as disabled push notifications for likes, retweets, follows, and quotes. Unfortunately, while necessary for security, these changes have caused apps like Tweetbot, widely used among iOS fans, to lose some key features. And now a few updates from Facebook. Facebook birthday fundraisers have only been around for a year, but benevolent Facebook users have already raised over $300 million. Organizations like St. Jude's Hospital, the Alzheimer's Association, the American Cancer Society, and the ASPCA are among some of the top beneficiaries. Not all of Facebook's features have been so well received, as we can see with the complete removal of Facebook Trends, but birthday fundraisers are here to stay. Seeing its success, Facebook has developed fundraising features like the ability to match donations, make recurring donations, add organizers to a fundraiser, and they've also waived associated fees. So new interactive tools for Facebook's Live may be in the near future for Facebook. Having just partnered up with Vidpresso after acquiring its staff and technology, it looks like Facebook users might be getting access to some new interactive features on Facebook Live. Vidpresso is known for creating tech that lets users add comments, polls, and other interactive content to live videos, which is the ideal complement to Facebook's push for live engagement. And another side of Live is, of course, live news. Facebook isn't really your typical source of live or breaking news. This is much more Twitter speed, but that may change with the new breaking news tag. This is a tag that lets users follow updates on certain news stories in Facebook, with the option to view updates for each story in chronological order. It's currently being tested in the US, Australia, Canada, Great Britain, and India with a small handful of publishers. And Instagram is starting to get personal. Polls have been available in Instagram stories since October, but now users can create more private polls and send them to select individuals or groups through direct messages. This allows Instagram users to interact on a more personal level with relevant audiences instead of polling the general public, who might have unknown biases or complete apathy for the topic being polled. And Spotify is also potentially working on a surprising feature update. The popular music streaming service may soon be making its users very, very happy by giving them the option to skip all video and audio ads with the new active media feature. Advertisers would only have to pay for ads that have not been skipped, and this would be available to both users with paid accounts and free accounts. Although it might seem like an unusual move to make this available to free accounts, it's also the perfect opportunity for Spotify to gather data and significantly improve both user and advertiser experiences. They'll be able to find out what their listeners prefer and use this data to help their advertisers increase ad consumption by delivering more personalized advertising. And a closer look at how Google seems to always know where you are reveals a bit of a dark side. Google has been revealed to continue recording your location history even after you tell it to stop. Apparently, when you turn off your location history, certain services from Google will continue logging your location. Google is far from the only company to implement dark patterns in the UX design. Dark patterns are those little tricks in the way that user interface is designed to confuse users into doing things they don't really want to do, like make a purchase or give away private information. But with recent heightened awareness over user data security, consumer trust has become increasingly intertwined with company transparency. Google does vaguely mention continued location tracking after turning off your location history. This can be found by clicking on the Learn More link when you go to turn off your location history, but it conveniently fails to mention where you can go to really turn off location tracking for all location services. It's possible to do this in your web and app activity setting, though information about where and how to do this from Google seems to be lacking in transparency. And that's it for episode 16. Don't miss out on the latest updates from social media and beyond. Subscribe to the Social Recap and keep up with important changes in the world of social media and digital marketing. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.